Hi there, viewers. Today, I'm joining a conversation with author Marlitta Smith, the author of An Awakening of My Kid Human Power. It's a pleasure to have Smith on the show. Welcome on the show, Smith.
Thank you so much, Peter, for having me. I appreciate you
Yeah,
so much.
it's a pleasure to
And
have you on the show.
congratulations on your book.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So, Malita, tell us about your book, An Awakening of My Kid Human Power. How does this book come about? I mean, what inspired the book?
Well, first, let me just show you a picture of my book so
That's
everyone can,
great.
the viewers can see it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love the cover.
Thank you so much. Um, well, the An Awakening of My Kid Human Powers came about. I was observing parents just, working with their kids or interacting with their kids.
Yeah,
And, parents are so they're wanting their kids to be successful, and that's understandable.
absolutely.
But I think a lot of times they're forgetting about core values, character building, because they want their kids to be so successful
Yeah.
that, it's by any means necessary,
Mm.
for you to become successful. But they forget about these very important core values, these character building traits that I believe kids need to have, especially, in humanity and dealing with humanity. Um, and so one night I was fast asleep and I woke up, I had an epiphany, and I woke up and I grabbed my notebook and I just started jotting down
Wow.
what the book is going to look like,
Mm.
what the information that's going to be in the book. And it just all came to me. And I wrote it down on a pad, and here's the book. So that's how it came to be.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. I love the inspiration behind it. It sounds pretty much, interesting to me. And it's something that I think a lot of parents need to know in terms of, child upbringing. Now, also want to ask you, from reading your book's description page on Amazon, I see that the book stylishly relates to the discovery of inner ability, strength, passion, gift, etc. by children that would help them impact the world positively. I'd love you to tell us more about this and how you feel like this sort of trait should be encouraged among the young ones.
Well, in today's society,
Mm.
kids don't really have that much interaction with one another anymore. They're on
Wow.
their computers, they're on their tablets. Um, they're not getting the tools that I feel that they need for their development. And so this book will allow them to build self-esteem
Wow.
and to take notice of compassion and encouragement and generosity and honesty and love and caring and sharing. And this is what this book is about. Um, they can read this book and come away with something that they might be able to pull out of themselves and say, hey, just by reading this book, it's helping me to believe in myself and giving me self-esteem
Absolutely.
to say, tackle an
Challenge.
environmental issue
Yeah.
or tackle, mistreatment, maybe, march for equal rights and equality. This book will help to spark something in them to make them feel like, hey, I can do that just like the next person can do it. So it's a very encouraging book. It's a book that helps them to recognize these core character traits that will help them, which in turn will help humanity.
Wow. Wow, I love the sound of this book. I so much love the sound of it.
Thank you, Peter.
Yeah. I also want to ask you, how do you develop passion to write children's literature? Do you have an author or a particular book that inspires you to do this?
No, I don't have a particular author. Um, I guess God would be my author because he inspired me to
Oh,
really do this book. Like I said, I had an epiphany and I woke up with this idea, everything intact, from the color of the book to, writing about the different core concept, character traits, the color, everything was outlined in my brain when I woke up, like I said, at 2 a.m. to write this book. All I had to do so that I wouldn't lose my train of thought was to grab my notebook and just immediately just started writing everything down. So, getting back to your question, like God inspired me to write this book.
mm.
And I really feel it has a purpose because the way it happened. I do have more to add to that. I started as a young girl journaling. What girl
Oh.
doesn't journal, right? So I started journaling. My parents, I came from a divorced home,
Oh,
and I needed to deal with my parents' separation.
mm.
So I started journaling.
Oh,
Um, Also, I would write poetry in my journal. I would tell stories. I was with the Girl Scouts. I would tell stories. And this is how it developed my writing skills, you
oh,
know?
oh. I love the sound of that. I so much love the sound of that. Another thing, one of the impressive feature that your book possesses is the fact that it communicates value, ethics, and rightness. This is something that is missing among the young ones of our contemporary world today. Could you tell us about how rightness among kids could impact the world today?
Yeah, it's informative. It's like an informative aspect that has like a snowball effect. And when you have kids that are doing the right thing,
Yeah,
showing compassion, being encouraging, being honest,
yeah.
caring and sharing, um, it just helps the other children to see, wow, this is another approach. Maybe they might not learn that in their homes. Maybe it might not be taught there. But by this book, and Awakening My Kid Human Powers, they can get some of these core concepts and they can work on them. And this in turn will maybe help another child to see there's another way of doing things. You don't have to be a bully.
Hmm.
You can be compassionate. You
Yeah,
don't have to be dishonest. You can be honest and tell the truth.
absolutely.
You can be courageous and stand up for someone who's being bullied.
Hmm.
So it has a snowball effect. And that's why by being right, doing the right thing, like I said, it's a snowball effect. It can transcend.
That's great. That sounds very great to me. I also want to
Thank you.
ask, yeah, I also want to ask you, for readers like me who haven't read the book yet, and for parents who would love to purchase a copy for their kids, without giving much information, could we have a sneak of what we had expect picking up an awakening of my kid human powers?
Well, the book is primarily for children,
Okay.
but parents have to read the book to the children because the age group is between like 3 to say 8. Now, the older kids, like 7, 8, and 9, of course, they'll be able to read the book, but the younger kids, they won't be able to read the book. So I made it like an interactive kind of book where the parents can sit down with the kids and they can read the book to them. And what they'll be able to take away is that they'll also be able to retrospect and kind of look into themselves and say, hey, you know, through working, I'm so concerned about being successful, I'm not even taking on some of these core character traits myself. And so they start to look at the book and it becomes helpful for them as well. And they walk away with, you know, being a better person and also maybe being a little bit more generous by doing good deeds. So it pulls out something in the adults as well as the kids.
Wow, that's great to know. I actually want to ask you, what are the challenges you encountered while writing this book? If there is any, could you share with us and how you ultimately overcame it?
Well, I had several challenges. You know, as well as being a writer, you're always going to have different challenges.
Yeah.
But one of my challenge was to try to divide my time between writing the book and my family,
Yeah,
because family is very important to me.
absolutely.
I'm a grandmother, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, and I just needed to figure out, like, okay, how can I spend my time, you know, with my family without them feeling like I wasn't available.
Okay.
So that was one of the things, just finding time to not think about my book on a regular, because as you know, as a writer, that's what you constantly do.
Absolutely.
You know, how's the illustration going to turn out?
Yeah.
How, you know, is the editing going to turn
Sound.
out? How is, oh gosh, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So prioritizing to write the book was one of the challenges. And another challenge was getting the word out about the book.
That's great. That's quite fun to know. I know that everybody have different kind of challenges when writing is concerned. Now, I also want to ask you, could you tell us what publishing is like for a published author like yourself? What are the challenges you've encountered in terms of marketing your book? And what are the mediums you've utilized so far to promote your book?
Um, well, publishing the book, it's time consuming.
Absolutely.
So, you know, you're constantly having to resubmit and edit,
Yeah.
edit, edit, edit. You know that as well. You know, that is so important.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
oh, goodness gracious. You know, you think you have it worded perfectly, and then you have someone read it over and they say to you, oh my goodness, you know, you should add this or you should delete this. So I would say editing was a really big challenge for me in publishing the book. um, I worked with some really good people who helped with the marketing,
Oh,
but you know, when it's all said and done, it really is up to you about marketing. I mean,
absolutely.
nobody is going to sell you like you're going to sell yourself.
Yourself, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So you
That's
have to get out there. You have to, you know, pretty much sell yourself and sell your book. Um, I'm doing that by, I've been featured in a couple magazines. I've been featured in some publications. Um, I've been doing speaking engagements. Also, my book is in Barnes and Noble, so I'm going to be setting up some book signings there, and also doing some fun things like going to my granddaughter's school and reading to the, you know, the kids there.
yeah, yeah.
That's a joy. I'm really going to enjoy doing that. So
Yeah.
that's basically how I've been marketing my material.
Yeah, I love that. I love your method and your start so far. Now, I also want to ask you, is there anything that you would love to share with the viewers about your book that we couldn't mention in this interview, and you just love the viewers to know?
Well, core character traits, you know, it's important to possess. And the book is a reminder that core character traits, they're just as important as being successful.
Hmm.
And, you know, that's what I would like to um, part with. that information for anyone that's, watching the show, that keep in mind about your core character traits. That is really what defines you. And you're also able to go into the world and be selfless.
Yeah, that's true. And I also want to add this because I got to know and realize that most of the problem we have in our society today can be likened to the fairness when it comes to ethical development of a child. Because you see people just raise a gun and kill another person. I think if this ethic of a thing, morals, is praised between children while upbringing them, while bringing them up, it would help them to stand up in future time and prevent themselves from doing evil, from doing something bad, something involving themselves in different sort of vices, etc.
Yes.
And I am very sure that this book really sounds nice and it's a very great resource for parents and for kids out there.
Yes, it is. Um, like I said, I have a real passion for kids.
Yeah,
Um, this book really um, is for the kids, but also for the adults. I think that, like I said, the adults will be able to walk away and do some retrospect as well,
yeah,
and be able to, maybe volunteer or do something for humanity.
yeah. That's great. Actually, I want to ask you, as a published author, what sort of advice do you have for other writers who are still struggling with publishing a book like yours? What would you tell people in this category?
Um, I would say believe in your story. Stick to your own experiences and your feelings.
Hmm.
Because if you're trying to write a story that doesn't connect to you, it's not going to be a good book. So you definitely want to do that. Also, be committed. Be
Yeah,
committed to your book.
yeah,
Um, if your book is your priority, even if you have family members, you just explain to them, like, I'm working on my book. I can't make it to this engagement. Please understand. So that's really important. And another thing is to go outside and embrace nature. I found by going outside, I got so much energy to write my book. And
absolutely.
I allowed this nature and this vibe to motivate me.
Yeah,
So that's what I would like to leave, with the other authors that are watching the show.
yeah, that's great. I don't know if you'd love to make some sort of recitation from the book. Would you like that?
Sure, I would love to read something. Great. Now, this part here,
Yeah,
um, it's Kid Compassion. I don't know if you can see Kid Compassion there,
yeah,
but
I see that.
Kid Compassion is eager to bring attention to the yucky stuff that's hurting our planet.
Mm.
So, in order to feel powerful, she writes a poem to express how she is feeling. Save our planet, save it now. Clean our air, make it smile. Keep our trees and let them grow. Please, won't you please show concern?
Oh, I love that. It's great.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Marlitta Smith, for coming on the show. It's a pleasure speaking with you.
Oh, it's a pleasure speaking with you too, Peter. And I thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah,
And I know I expressed this before, but good luck to you with your book.
thank you so much. And for viewers who would love to get a copy of Marlitta Smith's book, I left a link in the description part of this interview for you to get a copy directly on Amazon. It's available on Amazon for some few dollars. Be sure to get a copy and get a copy for your kids, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna love it. Thank you so much once again, Smith. It's a pleasure on my side here.
It's a pleasure being with you. Thank you, Peter.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Yeah.